Hey folks, welcome back. It's time to go back to the piano roll. And last week I showed you two of my controller scripts called Melody Maker and Scale Maker. And today I want to give you my new Chord Maker controller script. It creates simple diatonic chord progressions inside of the piano roll. So here we have, let's say, launcher clip or a note clip inside of the clip launcher of Bitwig Studio. We have 4 bars here, and all we have to do now is to go to the Chord Maker controller script, and we can choose here a mode. And these modes are also coming from the Scalar.js script I did last week. So you have all the same modes in here, also the same scales, of course. We can choose a D sharp natural minor. And we can choose here how many bars of chord progressions we want to generate. And we want to generate here notes inside of the clip launcher or the arranger. But this time we want to create here inside of the clip launcher. Then all we have to do is basically to hit generate. And then it gives you here a bunch of codes. 1 chord for each bar, right? And it sounds very basic. Okay, and we can go back here to the chord maker, and I did it this time that you don't need to hit generate all the time. You can do this if you want to, but every time you hit generate, you create a completely new random, it's not absolutely random, but you create a new chord progression. But this time we can also change some settings here and then hit repaint. So we can say, let's revoice all these notes in here, right? So we hit repaint. You can see now some of these notes are much closer together. And below that we have here revoice minimal interval. And this means when you have multiple notes or when some notes are too close together, then they are split apart by shifting octaves. So this means here we can have, while shifting notes around, at least one semitone distance. I show you this later on because at the moment it doesn't make any sense here with the triads. But when you have more notes in a chord, then it becomes obvious. So we have then also here a revoice pedal channel. That's more like an experimental feature where you can say, I want to have certain notes here on the same note. So let's say you have multiple chords and some of the chords in here have the same notes, but in different octaves. You switch basically these notes to the same octave and you have like a pedal tone. So like a note that goes through all of the chord progression. And here you can choose basically which note it is. Maybe it's the root, it's the channel 1, or the third, which is I think 3, and so on. Another thing that you need to know is that all of these notes here have different MIDI channels. So when we switch the piano roll to note channel, you can see all of these notes have different channels, but they are kind of have a meaning. So here this note is channel 1 because this is the root of the chord. And this one has channel 3 because it's the minor third. If sometimes it can be also the major third, then it's also 3. So this is the third of the chord. And then this one is 5 because it's the 5th, right, of the chord. And then you can see here, this chord actually is in an inversion. So the root note is not the lowest note inside of the chord. It's actually here the 5th. So this is basically the inversion 0 or like the root position of this chord. And the revoicing or the revoice feature here basically did the changes to that. So this note is closer to this note. So this is the idea behind it. So we have multiple channels for different notes that have different meaning. So you always know what note is in what kind of inversion or what is the function of the note. Then we have here something like at bass, so we can choose yes and then hit repaint, and then it creates basically a root node. So here this is G, right? And this is G because this is the root node. So I take the root node and paint it 1 or 2 octaves lower. So with this, we can create some kind of bass sound. And also this node has a special channel. It's channel 16, so it's the max channel, right? So bass node, you can use this then and send it to a different channel, to a different instrument, or maybe on the same channel or on the same track, you can send different notes to different instruments or use it for different purposes. So this was the idea behind it. We can also choose no here, repaint, and then it's, you know, the bass notes are gone. We can also add 7th notes here. And you can see here some of these notes are very close together, right? So this is here, let's go back. Yeah. So this is now here channel 7 because it's the 7th note. You can see this note is very close to this note, but there's a gap between that's exactly 2 semitones. So what we can do now here is with revoicing, we can say I want to have at least 3 semitones between notes, and then hit repaint. You can see now this is here at the top because it's just too close together. So my script basically decides to take this note and put it 1 octave higher. It's the same note, it's just 1 octave higher. You can also go down to 1 and hit repaint, and then hit here maybe add 10th. Hit repaint. You can see now we have here 10th note of the chord pretty close to B, right? It's just 1 semitone. And maybe it doesn't sound well or sound good. So maybe you don't like the sound. So you can say, I want to have at least 2 semitones between the notes. So I hit repaint, and then, you know, it skips the note up to 1 octave higher. Or maybe 3. Let's use 3 here. And then with the revoice pedal channel here, you can say, what's this? Maybe here B, this is channel 3. I want to have, like, for channel 3, I want to try to keep it on the same note, but it's not possible here. Let's go to 5 maybe. So it reorders the notes. So you can, you know, try out and give it a different voicing just from this tool. But it's probably more easier to go into the notes here for yourself and then nudge it around octave wise and get some different voicings. And this is the same chord progression from the beginning. So you can do all these changes here with the repaint feature, and then you can also hit generate and completely generate a new chord progression every time. I always start with the tonic, so with the 1 chord. So if you want to start with a different chord, then all you have to do, or what you usually do, is you just start in a different position. So you start here instead in the beginning, right? So I try to keep it simple. Also, it's all diatonic, so it's nothing like you can create modal chord progressions. So it's very basic, very simple. But in my opinion, it's a great starting point if you want to create something. It's also a great starting point for me when I make this script in the future, maybe a bit more, you know, complex. Add some features here and there, but it's at least something. It's a starting point, and you can create some nice diatonic chord progressions just with a click here of a button. So it's maybe a good way to start this. I also want to show you here the script. This is the name, chord maker control JS. And it's here, chord flow. You can see this, maybe I can zoom in. So this is basically how I create chord progressions here. It's an array, or it's an object with arrays in there. And this is here the tonic, the root note, right? And then the flow is, it can go, so the tonic can go to all of the other chords, but you have a certain probability in here. So, right, this is 35% chance to go to the 5 chord. So the probability is pretty high that we go from the 1 chord to the 5 chord. It's not so likely, but it's still high to go to the 4th chord here. And the lowest probability is here to going to the 6th chord, from the 1 chord to the 6th chord. So if you want, you can go into the script here and change the probabilities for each of these flows. So this is basically the first chord, this is the second chord. So the numbering is a bit odd because it's arrays, right? The first item or the first index in an array in JavaScript is 0 instead of 1. So it doesn't line up with the chord function. So 0 is basically the 1 chord and 1 is the 2nd chord. But you can see this here in the back in the description. Also here, this is the 5 chord. You can see the 5 chord goes with a very strong probability back to the 1 chord, which is then a plagal cadence. But it has also 20% chance to go to the 5, which is the 6th chord. So here you can change this if you want to. I could maybe put in here sliders for that, but then you have like, I don't know how many sliders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on. So a lot of sliders, and it makes the interface too complicated. But if you want to, you can change this here if you don't prefer other chord flows, or you prefer a certain type of, you know, going from one chord to the other chord, or a certain type of intervals. So this is how this works. If you download the script and you have problems that it shows up, a lot of people have this problem, you have to go to settings here, locations, and then down here you see my controller scripts. You have to put the script into this direction, into this directory. That's very important. That's the main directory here for controller scripts. And then you go to settings, controllers, and then you click here down here, add. And then it should show polarity here, and then you can choose chord maker and add. If polarity doesn't show up, some people reported this. I think it's a caching problem for Bitwig. You put this into this directory, and then you go into the script here, and then you maybe change just one line, or maybe put this one line down, and then you hit save, and then it should show up, in my opinion. I don't know if that's the problem, but I think Bitwig is caching these controller scripts. So if Bitwig doesn't detect any change or any difference between what's in the cache and what's in the directory, it doesn't update, or maybe it doesn't you know, update or show the scripts at all. So there's a problem there. But maybe you just go in, change a line like this here, and then hit save. So Bitwig detects there is actually a change in the script, and then it updates the cache. I don't know if that's the problem. It's just my guessing, because a lot of people said multiple different things. Some people said there's a problem here with the line, new line characters inside, and they changed it and it worked. Some people said they put your load API to the top and then it worked. But in my opinion, it's just cache problem. So everything you do to the file and then you hit save, Bitwig will detect, oh, there's something different in the controller script. Let's update the cache. So I think that's the problem. Also, if you download Chord Maker here, you also need to download Scales.js. If you already have it in your directory, you don't need to download this, right? And yeah, you can download the script here on my GitHub. As always, You just go to my GitHub, you go to controller scripts here, and then there's then here the chord maker. You click on it and you use here the download button. It should work. Last time I tried to upload a zip file, which, you know, lead to a lot of other problems with Windows Defender and, you know, saying there is some kind of virus in there, which is not true. So I guess this is the best method of downloading this. And yeah, like I said, the link is in the description below. So this is the chord maker. It's pretty basic. Let me know what you think. Maybe I add some features in the future. There's also no rhythm, so it's not like you can change that you have only one chord per bar. Maybe I add some rhythmic tools, so you have, like, you know, different lengths for chords, for certain type of chords. But I think as a basic starting point, it gives you exactly what you want. Let's hit generate here and remove tens. So it's not really random. Like I said, it's based on probability, so it should give you chord progressions that make sense in a way, if you know what I mean. So you shouldn't end up with chord progressions that are totally random. That's not the case. It's based on probability. Anyway, let me know what you think. And I also just got the message that Bitwig Studio 5.3 is coming out today. So thanks for watching. Leave me a like, leave a subscription, and hit me up with the bug reports and the feature requests, right? Thanks for watching, and bye.